Most people misunderstand emotional distance. They imagine a person who feels nothing, who stays detached from everything, who refuses to be vulnerable. But that isn't emotional distance. That's emotional avoidance. Emotional distance, in the Stoic sense, means something very different. It is not the absence of emotion. It is the absence of emotional domination. It is the ability to feel deeply, without collapsing under those feelings. It is the ability to stay steady, even when the world around you is shaking. And in a modern world full of unpredictability, pressure, and noise, this skill isn't optional. It is essential. Because here's the truth. Most suffering doesn't come from events. It comes from our interpretation of events. From the stories we tell ourselves before we even understand what's happening. A Stoic knows that the first emotion is instinct. The second emotion is choice. And everything after that is habit. So let's break down the ancient logic behind emotional distance, and how it can become one of your greatest sources of strength. 1. Your first reaction isn't you, it's your conditioning. When something triggers you, anger, fear, jealousy, anxiety, your first reaction isn't a conscious decision. It's a reflex built from your past. Your childhood, your insecurities, your old failures, your wounds. That first reaction is not truth. It is a memory dressed as a feeling. Most people don't know this. So they treat their first reaction as reality. Someone disagrees, they must be attacking me. Someone is cold, I must have done something wrong. Something goes wrong, I'm not good enough. Emotional distance begins the moment you say, wait, this is just the first reaction, not the final truth. This one pause is enough to save you from hours, days, even years of unnecessary pain. 2. Observing emotion weakens its power. When you step back and look at your emotion with clarity, instead of being inside it, its power over you diminishes. Imagine anger as a storm. Standing inside the storm is chaos. Watching the storm from a distance is understanding. A Stoic separates the emotion from the response. Ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling? Why did this arise? Is this emotion useful or harmful? If someone else felt this, what would I tell them? You'll notice something interesting. The moment you observe your emotion, you stop obeying it. The feeling remains, but the control belongs to you. 3. Your values must be stronger than your moods. Most people act based on how they feel in the moment. Happy motivated, sad unproductive, angry reactive, insecure silent. But moods are unstable. Emotions fluctuate. Impulses betray you. A Stoic chooses behavior based on values, not moods. If patience is your value, you remain patient even when irritated. If discipline is your value, you show up even when unmotivated. If kindness is your value, you choose it even when someone is unkind. Emotional distance means you feel what you feel, but you do what your principles demand. That is true self-control. 4. You cannot stop waves, but you can stop drowning. Life will always send waves. Waves of disappointment. Waves of uncertainty. Waves of fear. Waves of loss. Waves of frustration. You cannot stop these waves from coming, but you can stop them from dragging you under. Emotional distance is not a barrier against life. It's a stabilizer inside it. The emotion may rise, but it does not sweep you away. The pain may appear, but it does not break you. The thought may whisper, But it does not define you. You become the person who remains centered, while others are thrown around by whatever they feel. That steadiness becomes a source of power, respect, and inner peace. 5. Emotional distance makes relationships stronger, not colder. People fear that becoming stoic will damage their relationships. But it does the opposite. Without emotional distance, small arguments become wars. Misunderstandings become personal attacks. Disagreements become signs of disrespect. Stress becomes hostility. Fear becomes distrust. With emotional distance, you respond more thoughtfully. You judge less harshly. You take things less personally. You forgive more easily. You communicate more clearly. You avoid unnecessary conflict. Emotional distance makes you more loving, because you are less reactive. It creates connection, not coldness. 6. When you control your reactions, you control your life. People think the world controls them. But most of the time, it is their own reactions controlling their life. You lose opportunities because of fear. You damage relationships because of anger. You avoid growth because of insecurity. You stay stagnant because of doubt. A Stoic understands. Reactions shape fate. Choices shape character. Distance shapes clarity. The moment you stop letting emotions dictate your decisions, your life becomes your own again. Conclusion: distance is freedom. Emotional distance doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. It makes you harder to provoke, harder to manipulate, harder to discourage, harder to break. It makes you calmer inside storms, clearer during conflict, and wiser under pressure. The goal isn't to feel less. It's to be less controlled. The moment you stop being dragged by every emotion, you become someone very rare. Someone the world cannot shake. That is the discipline of emotional distance. That is the strength of a Stoic mind. This is Stoic Principles, where ancient wisdom becomes modern healing. If this helped you find strength in your struggle, like, share, and subscribe.